there going to be room for negotiation, as you seem to be suggesting?
Listen, we've got 50 countries that are burning the phone lines into the White House up, and probably the president's cell phone as well, and probably Howard Lutnick's as well. And I've heard from some as well. This is the ultimate deal maker who is a businessman at the head of our government. Finally, that the American people said all swing states, all the popular vote, tariffs were a part of his plan. We're going to put America first. And he will do everything in his power all day, every day to do just that. Right now, we're 2 business days into this new American order. So I think we have a lot to be determined, but the president is resolute in his focus, in his boldness, in his fearlessness, and in his relentlessness to ensure that we're putting America first by using these tariffs along with deregulation, cutting taxes, energy dominance. It's an entire package. But right now, obviously, the tariffs are front and center.
I agree. President Trump talked about tariffs on the campaign trail. I think probably a lot of voters thought that he was talking about the kind of targeted tariffs that he implemented in the first term and not these global tariffs that have diminished, wiped $6.6 trillion of wealth off of Wall Street. But I have to say, he didn't, when he was campaigning, talk about the pain that he is now acknowledging. And I have to say, we're getting a very Pollyannish view of what's happening from the Trump administration.
I disagree with that, Jake.
Well, let me just finish the question. Let me just finish the question and then you can answer.
That's not right.
But there seems to be a lack of acknowledgement of the real pain and panic people are feeling right now. And I don't know if you saw it because you were on TV, but there was a moment on Thursday, you were on Fox Business, you were praising President Trump's leadership, celebrating these tariffs, and all the graphics surrounding you, again, this is on Fox Business, showed the markets in a nosedive. And so you disagree that I'm saying, I say there seems to be a disconnect between what you're saying and the reaction of the world. Tell me why you disagree.
Listen, the president has, even in his State of the Union, I believe, he said that there will be some uncertainty. When we did the targeted tariffs in 2017, 18, 19 with China, I mean, listen, I was in the West Wing. I was helping run his domestic policy agenda. I was in those conversations. Secretary Sonny Perdue, the Secretary of Agriculture, put together a fund, basically, that allowed us to make whole farmers and ranchers that were immediately, hurt and had to have some mitigation efforts. That happened. So the idea that we didn't know that there would be some uncertainty just isn't true. We knew there would be uncertainty. But to take Thursday or Friday, and as we are basically laying out the vision that the president effectuated in the Rose Garden on Wednesday, and to say, oh, the world is ending, the markets are crashing. The markets are adjusting. Anytime you've got a strong leader who's looking at the long term, not how do I make sure Jake Tapper says nice things about me on State of the Union, oh, maybe I shouldn't do the tariffs today. That just isn't how this president operates. He operates in how do I save a country that for 100 years has been sliding toward decline as we have moved all of our manufacturing out into the world, as we have bowed at the altar of other countries' tariffs, as we have watched our farmers and our ranchers, again, can't get our corn into Mexico, can't get our dairy into Canada, have Honduras buying more pork and poultry than the entire European Union, have a 700% tariff from Japan on our rice. This is not okay, and it is not sustainable. And for us to continue to build our agriculture, which is the backbone of our country, but also our manufacturing base, our energy, et cetera, for us to be able to do that, we have to put America first. So those tariffs, as the economy, the market begins to adjust, we will see a more positive as we move, I believe, very quickly.
So just in point of fact, the reason that the European Union, even though they are our fourth biggest market for agricultural products, as you know, don't take as much American pork as you would like is because they have issues with hormones used in pork. I don't want to get into a whole debate over that, but it's not an issue about tariffs. But let me ask you about the computation of these tariffs, because conservative economists at the American Enterprise Institute...
But wait, hold on, Jake, no. This is really important. You can't just say that. So here's the bottom line. They are using fake science and unsubstantiated claims to not take our products. So it isn't just that they have high tariffs. Thank you for making this point for me, by the way. I meant to make it. It's not just the tariff numbers. It's the way they've treated our products. Oh, sorry, we can't take your beef since 2002 because you use a certain type of feed. That's just absolute bull. It is not correct and not appropriate. Our supplies, our farmers and ranchers, we produce the safest, the most secure, the best food in the world. And so to use that for the EU to say, oh my goodness, we can't do it because of this reason, it's absolutely wrong, and it's not based on sound science.
Okay, well, you can take that up with the Europeans. Conservative economists at the American Enterprise Institute say that when the Trump administration came up with these tariff rates, you should have used as a basis the elasticity in the response of import prices to tariffs instead of retail prices. And AEI, a conservative group, says because the Trump administration mixed that up, the entire computation's wrong, and these tariff rates are set 4 times too high. They make a compelling case. Is that true?
Listen, I'm from the think tank world. I ran multiples of think tanks. I built the America First Policy Institute in the intervening 4 years between Trump 1 and Trump 2. I have a lot of good friends at the American Enterprise Institute. I don't mean to throw all of them under the bus, but I will say this. AEI has never been a friend of the president's. They have never been a friend of an America First agenda. They have never come alongside and helped us effectuate what we believe is today's
but did you use
conservative
retail
vision
prices
for
instead of
America.
import prices?
And they're just wrong on this.
So you didn't
They're
use...
just wrong. You know, Jameson Greer and Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent, these are the smartest, most incredible economists, businessmen on our side, along with President Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and others. I have 100% faith in the formulas that they used and how they came up with these numbers.
All right. I mean, they say that you use retail prices as opposed to import prices, and they make a compelling case. I'd ask you to check it out. The reason I ask you is because...
not read...
Yeah. Well, I'd ask you to check it out. You should read it. The reason I ask is because a lot of people are questioning the level of scholarship here behind how these tariffs were done. For example, President Trump laid out with a giant graphic of all the countries where tariffs were going to be, what he called reciprocal tariffs, were going to be imposed. And you're imposing a 10% tariff on the herd in McDonald Islands. The herd in McDonald Islands have 0 human inhabitants. They have 0 exports. They have 0 imports. They do have a lot of penguins. Why are you putting import tariffs on islands that are entirely populated by penguins?
Well, I mean, come on, Jake. Obviously, here's the bottom line. We live under a tariff regime from other countries. We have too long
the McDonald Islands is not imposing...
the idea that America goes first. I mean, come on. Whatever. Listen, the people that are leading this are serious, intentional, patriotic, the smartest people I've ever worked with. I did not come up with the formulas. I'm the ag secretary. I studied agriculture at Texas A&M. I was in a lot of conversations to make sure our farmers and our ranchers were part of that. The president recognized the importance of inputs. We got potash and fertilizer to make sure they could do their planting. But I have no doubt that I speak on behalf of President Trump when he would say he has the utmost confidence in the team and what they have built and what they have put together. And we are unleashing a new golden age, and we will see an economy that will benefit not just every corner of America, but our farmers and our ranchers and the people that have been left behind for far too long by both Republicans and Democrats.
So you say that America's farmers and ranchers understand there's going to be this short time of uncertainty, and there were obviously financial help for farmers and ranchers during the first Trump administration. Take a listen to North Carolina Republican Senator Tom Tillis.
Anyone who says there may be a little bit of pain before we get things right need to talk about farmers who are one crop away from bankruptcy. They don't have time, so we've got to be crisp on this implementation. Otherwise, we could do damage that's irreparable to farmers and businesses.
What's your response to Senator Tillis?
So the bottom line is this. In the last 4 years, the cost of inputs for our farmers went up 30%. In the last 4 years, we had an agriculture export deficit that increased from 0 when President Trump left to $49 billion. Our farming and our farmers and ranchers are hurting. They are operating at margins of profit that are thinner than they have in a really long time due to the policies of the last 4 years. But to Senator Tillis's point, we have to be prepared that if there is longer term damage, and this president has been very focused on this, and I've been saying it pretty much ad nauseum for the last 50 days since I've been in office, is that we will make sure that we have the funds, in working with the senators and working with the appropriators, that we can do what we did last time, which I think Secretary Perdue last time spent about $25 to $28 billion to mitigate some of the fallout from the last tariffs for the short term. The long term, the tariffs worked. I mean, the research shows that we had an increase in productivity, increase in jobs, et cetera, until, frankly, the Biden administration stopped enforcing some of those, the deal once we left office in 2021.
All right, Secretary Rollins, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and your expertise.
Thank you, Jake.
Kamala Harris says, well, she warned you. Her running mate, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, is going to join us to weigh in on that and much more next. And Republicans in Congress have